I think we're probably good to go ahead and get started. We may have some people pop on, of course. And as everyone knows, this event is being recorded. So you've all agreed that, you know that anything you might ask a question about later. Before I get started, to introduce our guest for the evening, I do want to make sure everyone is aware of two special members of our hosting party, and I'll also introduce myself as well. So I'm Ann Pollins. I think I've met just about everyone here, but if we haven't met, I am currently a faculty member and advisor of Gamma chapter, which is at Ohio State, but I was initiated into Ohio University, and I am in the president-elect position. And so one of my duties is coordinating this festive event. And I want to recognize our current president, Susan Miller, who, I'll let you say hello. Do you want to say
hello? Yes, welcome to all of you. Yes, currently I am, as I said a moment ago, but some of you may not be on. I currently retired as a professor about a year and a half ago at the University of Central Oklahoma, was initiated into Alpha Nu chapter at Oklahoma State University 51 years ago, and had the pleasure of joining them for their 75th initiation a week or two ago. And then I've been the chapter advisor at Gamma Gamma. So welcome to all of you. And it's such a pleasure to see everyone here.
And we're so glad for your leadership, Susan. And I wanted to make sure everyone does know our illustrious Phi Upsilon Omicron Executive Director, Melissa Martin. And Melissa, why don't I pass it off to you? And then would you like to introduce Susan as our main speaker? I'm not sure or did you want me to introduce her later?
You can introduce her. I'll just set up to say hello, everyone.
Okay.
I am Melissa Martin. I'm the National Executive Director for Phi U, and I'm honored to be the successor to the amazing Susan Rickards, and she'll get a formal introduction. I've been in this role for 10 years, but still excited to learn more about our history than I already know. It's just so wonderful that you're here with us, and appreciate all of you and your membership and love and passion for Phi U.
We really appreciate Melissa and all she has done. And so it's kind of exciting for me. I'll mention Corinne Carr was the person who reached out to me as a faculty member a few years ago and said, I think you should get more involved in Phi U. So I always want to acknowledge that it takes someone to reach out and say, I want to invite you to do more than you've done so far. And I always appreciate that Corinne has given me not only the opportunity, but, many wonderful years working within the administration of Phi U. And Melissa, of course, has had the great experience of being mentored by our speaker. And I would like to say that I think we found a great baton pass with Melissa, but I know that Melissa would agree with me that the foundation that Susan Rickards has built and really built in the form of it takes a village. And so many of you on this Zoom have worked with Susan so many years and know, so it's a woman who kind of needs no introduction. But for those of you who aren't familiar with Susan, she served as our Phi Upsilon Omicron Executive Director for many years. I'm not exactly sure the number, but I know we've been involved in conversations where she talked about, as Melissa Martin does now, really, having her children along and making many things a family affair as children grow through different stages and just figuring out how to balance that Phi U leadership. And so Susan, I remember many times sending things to Fairmont, I think it was Fairmont, West Virginia. See, just things, muscle memory, executive office. And, Susan is that face behind all that has happened in Phi U for so many years. And one of her many projects, but a real lasting project has been to document our history of Phi U. So without any further ado, I am going to pass the microphone, as it were, to Susan Rickards, who is going to give us a really interesting and personalized history of Phi Upsilon Omicron. So Susan, thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Anne. I was happy to be invited to give some information about the history of Phi Upsilon Omicron, and would like to tell you that there have been 3 histories that have been written. The first one that was written was from 1909 to 1944. The second one was the 75th anniversary, and it was written from 1909 to 1984. And then the last one was for the 100th anniversary from 1909 to 2009. And that is the one that I wrote along with getting information from the other 2 histories. And I think to start, Melissa has a copy of the first history from 1909 to 1944. And Melissa, would you just show them, if you can get to the front copy, and I know it's in a bound book of a number of candles.
Yes. So here is the original, and you can kind of see it says the history, if you can read that. And oftentimes, even on social media, you'll see that I use this picture. This is the original picture of our founding members. So very exciting stuff.
Yes, so I think that really sets the stage for the beginnings of Phi Upsilon Omicron. Particularly that picture brings us back over 100 years ago. And at the beginning of the 20th century was a time of emergence and growth and strength in home economics. Home economics as a discipline had its legislative roots in 1862 through the establishment of a system of land grant colleges and universities. And by 1900, most land grant colleges had established courses of study in home economics. Ellen H. Rickards has been called the founder of home economics. Between 1899 to 1908, she spearheaded a series of conferences at Lake Placid, New York. These conferences identified issues and challenges facing the new field of home economics. And we must remember that now that many of our programs are called family and consumer sciences, but at the beginning it was home economics. There are other names that are used, human ecology, in addition to others, but primarily family and consumer science is the name that is used today. So these events of Lake Placid, New York, set the stage for the establishment of the first national organization for home economics honor students. The Home Economics Department in the College of Agriculture at the University of Minnesota was growing and developing. In 1909, a group of students, mostly freshmen from the University of Minnesota, announced the founding of the Home Economics Club. The initial goal of the Home Economics Club members was to study home economics, promote social life among college girls, and to suggest improvements in curriculum. The first meeting, Founders Day, was February 10th, 1909. An initiation fee, and I think we'll all be surprised at this, was 50 cents that was charged each new member. The initiation fee then was raised to $2 in 1910 with dues of 50 cents per semester. Prominent speakers were invited to speak to the group on special interest topics, including women's rights and issues of the family. They also held candy sales and gave a vaudeville performance. In short, their program of work was similar to many campus organizations today. By the fall of 1910, there was a call for an organization open to all home economics students, and for that group to be called the Home Economics Club. This caused a dilemma for the members of the original Home Economics Club. According to the minutes of October the 20th, 1910, meeting the solution seems to have come with the transformation of the club to a Greek letter organization. And most importantly, in the spring of 1911, a new constitution was developed. They inserted the clause making membership dependent upon scholarship. A member consulted a University of Minnesota professor of Greek languages about an appropriate name for the organization. She told him the nature of the club, and he wrote to the club, "The motto must therefore be Greek, not in word only, but also in spirit, in this at least." He suggested the Greek phrase meaning the light of the home to reflect the purpose of the newborn organization. And as of May 11th, 1910, meeting of the Home Economics Club and the new name was adopted, and the professional fraternity, and many of you may be surprised to know that we were actually called a fraternity well into the 1970s. And Phi Upsilon Omicron then was started in 1911, specifically started and named Phi Upsilon Omicron in 1911. Along with the Constitution, it seemed wise at the time for Phi U to develop a symbolic ritual. It was in the late 1930s that a special committee made corrections in the ritual and prepared a detailed guide for the initiation service. The initiation service has been revised numerous times, and as of 2006, there were 3 services. There was the traditional service, a more contemporary service, and an updated contemporary that has all of these initiation services contain the Phi U song. Our Phi U pen, Melissa, do you want to hold up the pens that have been developed and over the years? I don't know how we can
see there are 3
see
there.
them, but there have been several, and Melissa was referring to the first one earlier as being an HE for home economics. Is that correct? That it has on that?
Yes,
Melissa?
it has HE, and it says Home Economics Club Pen, 1909 to 1912.
So the official ring pen has a ring symbolizing the family circle. I don't know if you can see. Well, it's similar to the one like what I'm wearing. And yes, and you can see the one, there's a little glare on that, Melissa. I don't know if you can, there you go. There you go.
Is that better?
Yes, yes. It symbolizes the family circle. The candle with a diamond represents the light of the home, and the Greek letters Phi Upsilon Omicron are superimposed over the candle and inside the ring. Thank you. The colors of Phi Upsilon Omicron are yellow, symbolizing light, white, which represents honor and integrity, and purple, symbolizing faithfulness. And I'm sure most of you are aware that our flower is the violet, which reminds us of faithfulness and truth. Then a bookmark was developed for Phi Upsilon Omicron, and Melissa has in the national office. Oh, okay. You want to show the bookmark itself right now? Okay.
Oh,
Can
or
you
we
hold
can
that?
do that. We can do the plates, whichever you'd prefer to show
Well,
first.
show them that
Susan.
first. Show
Okay.
them the bookmark, so that then we can show them the plates.
I don't know if everybody
And
can see
probably
that.
many of you have the bookmark. But I also want Melissa in the national office has the original plates that were used to print the bookmarks. They are not printed this way now. I don't
It's
think,
super neat.
even when
though.
I worked, we didn't, they weren't printed from the bookmarks, from the plates. But these are the original plates.
And there's
that-
4 for the different layers of the design, but it is really interesting to see these inking plates.
Okay, thank you, Melissa.
Mhm.
Then our crest is a shield with 2 charges. You have the crest.
I do. And I
Okay.
actually have 2 versions. One was stitched by Etta Lucille Finley from Sigma chapter. And I have this one, if you all can see the crest.
Okay, and there are 2 charges. One is a castle representing the home, and the other is a pelican with its young symbolizing the family.
And
And
this
that's
is
a
the
painted
one
one.
designed by the IOTA president.
So I thought those are interesting. And the words to our Phi Upsilon Omicron song were written by Rachel Hopkins, one of the founding members of Phi Upsilon Omicron. Then I just wanted, under this section, I wanted to add that in 2004 conclave, Phi Upsilon Omicron added the Phi Upsilon Omicron purposes, mission statement, niche statement, and a legacy of empowerment were adopted. And I don't know, since my history goes to 2009, I'm not certain how many changes have been made in the last few years. Then I want to just discuss a little bit about the expansion of Phi Upsilon Omicron from the original Alpha chapter at the University of Minnesota. In 1914, Beta chapter was established at North Dakota State University with 13 charter members. 6 Alpha members traveled to Fargo by train to install the new chapter. In the first issue of the Candle, 1915, it was reported that National Council would be the governing body for the Phi Upsilon Omicron organization. There was a desire in 1911 for a way to communicate with Phi Upsilon Omicron members, as some were graduating and moving on to other things and wanted to be able to communicate. So the first issue of the Candle was published in November 1915. It was a 76-page issue. Now, it was smaller than what our Candle is today. It was a, well, yeah, you can show that one. It was
This one's a 1932 issue. It's just one that I grabbed, but you can see the size is a little bit smaller.
And the older ones, most of them have been bound, was what originally Melissa showed that the history was from.
Yep.
And then they have been scanned also. So we have them in digital copy also. Okay, let's see. Oh, in order to boost the subscription to the Candle, a lifetime subscription plan was made available between 1926 and 1930. A $15 subscription guaranteed a member a subscription to the Candle for life. And if the Candle they would discontinue, then their money would be refunded. Phi Conclaves, all national business of the Honor Society has been made available at Conclave, and there are always Conclave agendas available. The very first Conclave of Phi Upsilon Omicron was in June of 1950 at the Home Economics at the University Farm of the University of Minnesota in St. Paul, Minnesota. Then we move on to professional projects. Professional projects have always been a part of Phi Upsilon Omicron's mission. Records show that one of Alpha chapters, the University of Minnesota's first project, was participation in Baby Week, a national focus on the care of infants. Also in minutes from the chapter, baby welfare work was being done at St. Paul in addition to textile legislation and industrial survey and contributions to the Ellen H. Rickards Fund. In 1920, all 5 chapters that were in existence cooperated in a plan sponsored by the American Home Economics Association to endow a chair of home economics at the Women's College of Constantinople. Phi U contributed $252, which was no small sum at that time. In the fall of 1924, the candle contained printed information on the beginnings of a Phi Upsilon Omicron Scholarship Fund. And a student from China was awarded the first scholarship in 1925. And it wasn't until the late 1960s that Phi U began to take steps to make Phi Upsilon Omicron Educational Foundation a reality. And it was established officially in May of 1970. In 1972, Phi Upsilon Omicron became a nonprofit tax-exempt organization under the Internal Revenue 501c3 code. And this allowed for contributions to be tax-exempt. Now, if you want to learn more information about our history, you can contact Melissa Martin at the national office. She's a great source of Phi U information and can direct you in whatever way your questions lead. Also, Phi Upsilon Omicron information can be accessed in the archives at the University of Minnesota and at the Ohio State University archives. As we look forward to the future, please follow Dr. Susan Miller's the current national president's theme, Weaving Our Future Through Phi U. In addition, the vice president of Phi U, Ann Pollins, and Sonia Moore, the Phi Upsilon Omicron chair of the foundation, as well as National Council past and current board members, are very, very knowledgeable about Phi U. So use them and ask them questions. And I encourage you to look at our past and follow the future of Phi Upsilon Omicron. And thank you.
I'm not quick at hitting that little emoji, so I see we're all just actually clapping.
Well, thank you very much.
Susan, thank you so much. We do want to move on to our trivia, but we have a few moments. So if anyone is sparked with a question that they might want to pose to Susan, I invite you to simply unmute and ask your question.
May have covered it all.
Well,
or the main information.
If you don't mind going into the pins, when Melissa was holding up the pins, you talked about the first one, and there were 2 additional ones below that. What's the difference between the 3 pins on there? So the first one at the top is the oldest one that you mentioned was from 1909 to 1912. What's the difference between the other 2?
Well, it's the one that has the HE for home economics, for the original home economics club or organization. Melissa, do you want to hold those up again and talk about what the plaque says about the other 2? They're very similar, as I recall.
oh, you're muted, Melissa.
Sorry,
You
I'm
need
trying
to
to
be-
read it as I turn. The second iteration says the first Phi Upsilon Omicron pin 1912 to 1921. This one has more of a broom style base to that candle versus the latest one. And then there's the modern Phi U pin. So they look very similar. So if you can see that, Jennifer, I think you asked the question.
Yeah.
Versus
I
the
can
first
see
one
the
is, of course, is
pins,
the
yeah.
most different, the home economics club pin.
I see that. Does it
Really
say
neat.
a year listed on the bottom one too?
It's 1921 until now. So this
Okay.
is, we can order these pins through the national office, but our new members, they receive a lapel pin that's just the Greek letters. So this is the official pin. Yeah.
But there's also other types of jewelry available, correct, Melissa? This is a necklace. I don't think the filigree ones are
Right.
currently, or they have not been available. And it may be that only Melissa and I have the filigree ones, but there are other types of jewelry available. And the national office has a number of pins that have been donated back to the organization also.
Actually, it might be a good time for Melissa to share that if anyone is interested in obtaining one of the vintage pins, I actually have one, and mine is so special to me because my aunt was an honorary initiate. I think the back of it says 1956, but she was a home economist and a member of Phi U, and so she gifted this to me when I became a Phi U, which was post the time people were getting, is probably just after people were actually getting the pin. So I always have felt so special to have one. But Melissa, do you want to share how people might inquire?
Yes. So if you are interested in purchasing one of our historic pins, we have, it's been quite some time since they've been appraised, but Susan Rickards had those looked at and appraised by a jeweler, and just so you could note the gold and the diamond size of the different pins. So we have some information on those. You can email me at national@phiu.org if you're interested in more information about them.
And it was interesting to have them appraised and also looked at. Some of them have diamonds, some of them have zircons. Some of them are gold, some of them are not. So, and yes, Melissa has a chart of that information also about them, and who, I guess, I don't know if we had information on everyone who donated those pins, but we had a lot of information, at least names and chapters of the
Yes.
members who donated.
Did those
Yes.
people just donate them out of their graciousness, or how did you really come about those? I belong to another organization in which the pin, when someone is deceased, they are to give it back to the organization, the pin. So was there ever something along those lines? Is there today? I mean, I don't know. It's just
No, at least when I was working for Phi U, we had nothing where people would give them back, but a number of them would be mailed to the office. I worked for 35 years for Phi U, so over that time, that length of time, people would mail them because they didn't know what to do with them, didn't have anybody to give them to. And I don't know how many, I don't remember how many we have, or if Melissa is still receiving some of those, but there
I've
were
received a handful over the years. I haven't
Okay.
haven't been appraised, but I have received
Uh-huh.
a handful over the years. Yes.
okay. I think that's kind of special that, that maybe family members know that that would be a good thing to do with something like that, especially if that would be great if they could pass it down to an heir, but otherwise just give them back to Phi U and they be used other ways. So,
and the purpose, what we were doing, Melissa, perhaps the National Council and Foundation have discussed this and changed it, but we were having people donate those funds to the Educational Foundation previously.
The great discussion about the pins, and it really is kind of exciting to have an outward symbol and a meaningful symbol. So Susan, thank you so much for sharing such great information. I think it's fascinating to learn about the history, and hopefully everyone was paying attention because we actually have a trivia game again, in the spirit of sort of how I get through life, it takes a village for me. And I want to give a special shout out and thanks to Jennifer Reeder, who graciously shared with me a Kahoot that she had developed, so I didn't have to start from scratch on our trivia game tonight. A few things are updated, but they're, Jennifer, thank you. I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and share this screen because it will take, probably just a second or two. If you're savvy with a cell phone, you can simply use that QR code into your cell phone and it'll take you into a game, and you'll have a chance to put your name, just your first name, or however you want to depict yourself on our game. And if you're on a laptop, you can go to www.kahootit, and it will ask you for the pin, which is 661-610. But we'll take a look and see if we get about the number of people who are on our Zoom call to play the game with us. And while you're all getting ready, I'm going to make one other comment about Susan's presentation, which sort of made me drop my jaw, which was I love that lifetime membership of $15 for the candle. And we certainly want to invite any of you to check out the opportunity to provide what we call a lifetime membership. I think it's around, Melissa will tell me, $300-ish.
It's $350, yes.
$350. Okay. If you would like to do that today, so 50 is probably about an equal amount. But I loved or was kind of floored when Susan said, and if they discontinued the candle, they would give the money back. I don't think we say that anymore, but what great motivation to get that candle out, right? You don't want to have to write the checks back.
Yes. And while
Previously,
people are,
go ahead, Melissa.
I was just going to say, we didn't show these, but these are some of our recent candles. So if you're not receiving the candle anymore, definitely reach out to us and we'll see about reconnecting you that way.
And the lifetime membership does not include, or did not include, a lifetime subscription to the candle. Is that currently correct,
Right,
Melissa?
You're right. So lifetime members they do have the option of renewing their candle subscription every 3 years for $10. So they get a perk that way.
It looks like we've got a pretty good crowd of people. I hope I'm not starting before folks are in, but I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first question. And by the way, we do have some fun prizes. Susan Miller's contributing some opportunities for our top winners to get gift cards, and we've got lots of Phi U swag. So if you're in the top performers, then make sure that you don't pop off before you either private message Melissa or get us your name, mailing address, and email. So here's the first question coming right up. And so your device will only have the color of the answer you select. We've got people on board that hopefully were detailed. It looks like 11 people were correct. And quickest one in was Abby. So we'll see a running total of who's at the top. Woot woot. Yeah. And we're going to keep moving right along because there are a fair number of questions. How many years young is Phi U this year? Actually, I think I have some fun little music that I muted earlier. There we go. And Abby, you're still there at the top. Closely followed by Lindsay, Stephanie, Daniela. Next question. Where was Phi U founded? Oh yeah, here's our music. Oh, kind of loud. Yes, University of Minnesota. Abby is a Phi U expert. EST and Sally are coming in there. And what was the original name of Phi Upsilon Omicron?
You got to be quick.
Test the outcome because forward than the computer.
We've got a lot of savvy, smart Jeopardy players here. Some of you need to try to catch Abby, who's in on it fast. So great job, Abby. What year was the name Phi Upsilon Omicron adopted? Excellent. 1911. And our colors. This group knows Phi U. So purple, white, and yellow. And what does white symbolize? Oops, I'm sorry, I forgot to, I can't go backwards. So white symbolizes was it honor and integrity? Susan, is that correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I hit the wrong thing. So good job for everyone who got that. And the color yellow. Excellent. That is our light of the home. Next question. Color purple. Well done, Phi U members. Faithfulness. Abby's holding on to that lead. And we had a good discussion here. What does the pin with the crest symbolize? Our outward expression of our honor society and its purpose. Okay, next question. Our flower, the violet. Faithfulness and truthfulness. Very good. And we use those ribbons during our initiation for what purpose? What did the ribbon symbolize? Those are our colors. So Susan shared with us about those Phi Upsilon Omicron, those Greek letters, and what does it stand for? The light of the home. Okay, we got Lindsay, Abby, Daniela, Sally, and Lee heading up our leaderboard. How many founding members were in that? Did anyone count the number in that picture? This is not the picture. This is, I didn't have Melissa's picture, so don't count these. I'm not even sure if they were on the picture. So there were originally 22 members. I guess they probably weren't all in the picture. Okay. So Phi Upsilon Omicron is a collegiate-focused honor society nurturing leaders to continue the legacy of... This might be a little tricky question. Well, tricky, but you all got it right. So that's our field, our discipline, now called Family and Consumer Sciences. Yes. Okay. Leaderboard is changing places. It's kind of like watching NASCAR, but they're pretty much the same people at the top. And we've got some symbols on the Phi U crest. What are those symbols? This crew has been around Phi U for a while. I think this is always a little more tricky, but yes, Castle, Pelican, and Horn of Plenty are on our crest. Good work. Next question. So if any of you are in alumni chapters, in order to be an alumni chapter, there's a certain number of active of meetings to be considered active. And the correct number is 4. So 4 meetings per year minimum for an active alumni chapter. All right, Lindsay's got that one figured out. And where is our current Phi U national office located? Melissa holds a fort in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yay! Right. And our publication is called, well, this number that's coming in fast. Everybody. The candle. Okay. And how often do we publish our candle? So watch your mailbox for twice a year, or your digital mailbox, which it's really nice to get it that way and scroll through electronically. Yes. Oh, Sally's coming up to the top here. It's getting competitive. Where will the 2026 conclave be located? So we've got a conclave coming up. Where are we all going to head to in 2026? Well done. So we've got our mindset ready to head to Lubbock, Texas. Kyle's still on. Thanks, Kyle, for your upcoming hospitality. And we were recently at a conclave last fall, 2024. So you probably, if you were there, you probably remember. It's kind of a game of speed, though. And Menominee, Wisconsin, great hosts for us at the University of Wisconsin Stout. So thanks for all of you who were part of that planning. And we have several regions in Phi U. How many do we have? Four regions. Excellent. Let's see. Sally has come up to the front, followed by Abby, Lindsay, Kitty Cat. I think that's Sonia Meyer might be the cryptic Son M, I'm guessing. We've got SFAs coming due on what date? But hopefully we're encouraging the collegiates to get materials in. Boy, I might have given that away because some of these dates have passed, haven't they? Great job. Don't forget, March 1st, let everyone know.
Yes.
And encourage students. If you're a student, please get yourself an application submitted. And if you need to check on what's going on in Phi U, what's our address on the web? Good old phiu.org. And I love that my computer just goes ahead and says phiu.org when I put PH into the, so 4 players have reached answer streak 5. Woot woot. Couple more questions here. Hopefully all of our chapters are working on professional projects, and we look forward to getting those reports by what date? First of May. Right. Ooh, Sydney is the highest climber. Go Sydney. So our alpha chapter was at Minnesota. What year was our beta chapter installed? And I think I remember Susan saying the alpha chapter went by train to do the installation. Fun fact. So that was in 1914. That was kind of a tough question. Like we should have asked, how did they get there? Or how did Alpha get there? This is a really tough question, probably. How many chapters are currently in Phi U? Do a quick look on phiu.org. You can find the information. So we currently have 53 chapters. Of course, we're always looking to expand, whether it's with a new chapter or to reactivate a chapter that maybe has gone dormant. But 53, that's for either the good guests or people that really read that website. And we do give away quite a bit of money for scholarships, fellowships, and awards. And the last year, how much did we give away? Which is a wonderful thing to be able to do for our collegiates. Over $115,000. So great job for all of us that are contributing, and for people, and Melissa, who maintains and works to keep those funds in a positive place. So Lynette, you're on a streak. You go. I think Lynette might have been part of that foundational board for quite a while. So we appreciate that too. So now our initiation fees, they're not 50 cents anymore. They're still a very good deal. And $60 is the correct answer. So here we go. Lindsay has come in third place. We actually are going to go Sally in second. Who's the top winner? And Abby. So that's our top three, but we're actually able to award our top 10. So we want to make sure, if you were seeing your name up there, actually, let me see if I can figure out a way to get our, oh, that's a summary. Okay, I've got to figure out how to figure out to go higher than 3. So I'm going to figure out how to do that. And maybe I'll have to reach out to Jennifer to see if we can figure it out. But for Abby, congratulations. Sally and Lindsay, but we also had a number of people that were showing up in the top. So we are going to send some swag to folks that have more depth in our game list.
Yes,
So
I've got fun stickers. I've got a keychain. So when we get those results, we'll definitely want to reach out.
yeah, so I'll be figuring out the top 10, but we need to make sure that if each of you can either direct message or put in an email or a chat to Melissa your name and your mailing address and your email, because depending on the gift, you will either get an email with your gift or you'll get something in the mail. So
And Abby's given us some tips in the chat box, and to help us navigate the summary.
That's what I need. I need my village.
So while she's looking for that, we can kind of visit. We'll let her see if she can sort that out. Because I know some of you haven't seen each other in a while. So did you have anything else, Ann, right now? Are you okay if we just kind of say hello?
Oh, please do.
Yeah, so great to see familiar faces. We appreciate you all for being here and being a part of Phi U and continuing to be passionate about the field of family consumer sciences while we honor our history, but really, blaze a trail forward. And so thank you for that ongoing support. And, just want to invite all of you. Many of you are active and supporting chapters with time and resources, and some financially. So if you are able to give to the future of Phi U, and you would like to do so, you can go to our website, phiu.org/give. And then just your annual alumni gift, your lifetime fees, renewing your candles, supporting scholarships, or even just volunteering with chapters, even as alums, supporting the students and their professional projects. So it always helps make our network stronger and help our family grow. So.
And I'm going to share one more time, because then we'll be able to see our top. So thank you for helping me know who to. So here we go. These are the people who we need your information. Abby, Sally, Lindsay, Daniela, Kitty Cat, Son M, Sydney, Lynette, EST and Candy. So would all of you make sure, if that's you, that Melissa has your contact information?
I wanted to welcome our friend, Dr. Salfe Ng from Hawaii, who's on tonight. And I don't know if any of you have met him, but he's on our chat tonight. So welcome.
Hi,
Hello.
aloha, everyone. Thank you. That was great
Aloha.
presentation.
And Susan and Lynette and Becky and I are going to visit his chapter very soon.
Ah,
Really?
Yeah.
can
That is so
anybody pull up the
exciting.
trip?
We will have a club meeting in about an hour, and so we'll discuss one of Dr. Carr's visits. And everyone is welcome to Hawaii. Just let us know. We'll host you guys with maybe a quick, experience sharings.
So good to see you.
Very good
Yes.
to see you too. Yeah.
Looking forward to meeting you and your chapter members.
So nice.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. And again, Susan, thank you for such a great insight into our Phi Upsilon Omicron history.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Susan.
Yes, Susan, thank you so much, and all of you for attending. This has been so nice. We have such a rich history to weave into the future. So thank you so much.